Oh man, thanks. I really needed that neck massage that you gave me earlier.
I'm telling Quest about this, dog. I'm telling Quest all about this one.
Oh, whoops! I didn't realize the cameras were recording.
Right. Welcome back to Light Conversations, where we bring light to dark situations. All right, y'all, you're rocking with your relative Nishatti.
Ebony and Ivory.
Who?
Ebony and Ivory.
Who the feezy is that?
That's us.
But who is Ebony and Ivory?
Well, you be Ebony and I'd be Ivory.
Okay, I get that point, but who are they?
I don't know. We were getting confused on this. I felt like it was a trap there. I was like, what do you mean?
I just didn't know who they were. I think I might have heard it a few times before, but I just...
What do you mean?
I know these like characters or something in the book.
Well, I'm clearly Ebony.
Right.
I don't understand.
We're going to kick this back for the beginning.
Ebony and Ivory.
Y'all see how he acting, man? I should never give him no more candy. Every time he come here, I give him candy. Y'all see what the results are, right? John with
So
extra
welcome
spaces.
back to Light Conversations. We're your hosts, Ebony and Ivory. And what are we talking about today, Ivory?
All right, y'all said I'm gone. All right, y'all got this. I'm done. Y'all got this. I'm done. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Light Conversations,
Third time.
where we bring light to dark situations. You're rocking with your boy Nishatti, and to my right, I got my man John, my man. Extra spaces today. I'm just gonna go ahead and call you extra spaces, bruh.
Hey, real talk. I'm on their left.
On my right is what I said, though.
I know. I'm just one. I feel like you're leaving our audience out when you always make it about you like that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh wait, no, he didn't. Y'all know he
That's all I'm
did.
saying. You know. Hey, listen. Just let the record show. Like I care about you guys. And Nishatti, not so much.
You heard what he said about your kids in the previous episodes, right? Don't bring your kids to his house, man. Go ahead, play it back. If you didn't catch it,
it's 17 episodes.
It's like episode 1 or 2 or something in there. Just check it out. Just check it out. You'll see what I'm saying.
I'll build character with those kids. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, what are we talking about today,
John? Today, we gonna switch it up a little bit. But the question's gonna be right. Let me tee it up for the people. The question is gonna be: does it take money to make money? And that's a great question. And the reason why that's a great question is so many people are trying to start businesses and get going, but it's like, I don't have enough money or I don't have no money sometimes. You know what I mean? So my question to you, we're going to do this a little bit different. We're going to go interview style. You know what I mean? Because I know that you have experience in this, right? So my question to you, John, my man, no spaces, is does it take money to make money?
I don't like how you're getting all like excited about that. Like you're like all shifting your seats. I feel like
I told you, man.
The lights are a little brighter today.
This is my dream job. If I could sit around and interview people all day, I would do it, dog.
I think. So the short answer is no. It doesn't take money to make money. So I mean, you could argue that all the way down to like you get a 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
You know, like you're making money. You know, did it take money to make that? No. I mean, I guess you could argue like it took gas money or stuff like that. But no, I think the better question is like, can you buy a business with no money?
Can you
or
buy
no money
a
up
business
front?
with no money? With no money up front? No, ain't no way, right?
100% you can.
100% you can buy.
100%.
You trying to hold on,
and not only 100%, but multiple ways. You can do it multiple ways.
Sometimes my hearing's bad, y'all. You said we can buy a business with no money down.
Yeah, I would say it's hard. It's harder to start a business with no money.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh, that's
Good
a
luck.
Jimmy Jim. Okay. Yep.
So because even if you're gonna put in, even if it's like 99%, you know, your sweat equity is what they call it.
Okay.
At some point, you're gonna have to put some kind of money down for, you know, the service materials or whatever it is that you're doing.
Right.
Now there is a way that you could do that where it's like you partner up with somebody, and you're like, hey man, you got more money than time, and I got more time than money.
Right.
Let's partner up, and that's a good partnership
For sure.
you
For
know?
sure.
So it's like, hey, and just to be upfront, be like, hey, you know, if you put up the money, I'll do all the work.
Yeah.
I'll put up the sweat equity.
Right.
And that's a way you could do that.
Okay.
So you could start a business that way with no money out of your own pocket. Now somebody's paying for something at some point.
Okay. Right.
So there's that. But that's a good way to do it. Is like, hey, I got this idea for a business.
Yep.
And I got this relationship with this person.
Okay.
So let me go to this person and just say, hey, you know, and I would say with that, some things that you should talk about or think about is most times most people with money they're not seeking you out to go start a business.
Right.
And you put in the sweat equity. Yep. So you're seeking them out. So you have to make it kind of a sweetheart deal for them.
Okay.
Where it's like, hey, listen, if you put up the money to get this business off the ground, I'll put in my sweat equity. And then, however you want to structure that. So it's like, hey, if you want to do, I'll give you, 30% of the profits for forever or whatever. Like, make it worth their time. Make it a sweetheart deal.
Yep.
Now, the problem with that is that most people that are doing the sweat equity side of things at some point get a little bitter going, I'm doing all the work.
Yep, for sure.
And you're getting almost as much money as I'm getting.
Right.
And it gets a little bitter, and then that's when it starts to like fall off the rails and the partnership starts deteriorating and things like that.
Okay.
And so I would just say, if that's you, if you're going to do that, then maybe that's not the move for you.
Right.
So that's how you start a business with no money, is you partner with somebody that has money.
Okay. So the way to start a business with no money is to partner up with someone who has money. So you put in the sweat equity.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, if you want to buy a business, an existing business, the best, so it starts with you having that brand. And we talked about that in a different episode. It's like you are your brand, right?
Yep.
So like the people have to know that, like they have to, because anytime you're going to sell somebody a business, the way that there's a couple different ways you could structure it. So one is, let me buy this business from you.
Yep.
And I will pay you a percentage of, and you could do this, a percentage of gross or a percentage of profits for X amount of years.
Okay.
Okay. And that's just negotiation. You can talk about that. You could do X amount of years. You could do that for forever. You could do that for whatever. It's whatever it takes to get that deal closed. Okay.
Okay.
But when somebody's like, yes, let's do that. I'm going to give you my business and I want 10% of the profits for the next 20 years.
Okay.
They have to have that trust in you that there's going to actually be profits.
Exactly.
To make it worth your while. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just keep doing the business?
It's a fact.
Right? And so that goes back to just making sure that they have that relationship with you, or they know that like your brand is like you are one that's going to continue those profits.
Most definitely.
So there's a couple different things that you can do. You can go to somebody that really, the best way to do it is find somebody that is either they're just done.
Yep.
Okay, so they've grown the business and they can either just be like at a plateau in the business, or they could just be like ready to walk away.
Yeah.
Right? But they still have a lifestyle to support. So you go to this person and you're like, hey, listen, like I noticed that, your focus isn't currently on the business.
Yeah.
Let me make it my focus.
Right.
And let me make it worth your while.
Yep.
And so the best way to do that, in my opinion, is I would structure it as I'll give you a percentage of gross.
Yeah.
Because just take the mistrust out of it. Because if you go, I'll give you a percentage of profits, they have to trust that there's going to be profits at the end of the day.
Profits.
And that's like, honestly, like not trying to be rude against you or whatever, but like that's not their problem.
Yeah, that's real.
So
that's
all
true.
They're trying to do is like, so instead of gambling on you having profits at the end of the day, they're just gambling that you're just not going to blow the business up.
Right.
So I would structure it as like, hey, I'll pay you X amount. So like if you go sell it right now to somebody, they're going to give you, typically it's about 2.5 times your earnings.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, I made $30,000 last year.
Okay.
So they're going to give you around $75,000.
Okay. Right.
So instead of getting that all up front or getting a loan from a bank for that exact money, now all of a sudden you have this note is go, hey, listen, I'll give you $80,000, but it's based off of 2% or 10% or whatever of gross until I pay it off.
Okay.
You could do it that way. You could also just do like, let's say the business owner is paying themselves X amount of money. So just for fun money, let's say that you go to somebody and was like, hey, what do you pay yourself a month right now? It's like, $10,000.
Right.
So you already know the business is built to float that $10,000.
No doubt.
If their numbers, and again, this is all based off of them knowing their numbers.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to really get in there, because I've
Do
myself have purchased businesses that I thought the numbers were solid and they were just lies. So then all of a sudden you get in there and you're like, man, this boat's sinking.
Right.
Well, it's your boat now, sucker. You better
figure something out.
You're a carpenter. You're out there
all
shucking
day.
holes. Anyway. So that's based off of them actually knowing their numbers and them being real. But so if the business owner's like, hey, I pay myself $10,000 a month, just say, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 a month for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So, maybe this person's, 60 years old, and they're like, man, I can't be doing this for much longer.
Right.
But I still have this lifestyle that I'm accustomed to based off of
I got to keep it up. Yep.
So then it's like your entire job is to walk away and don't die, and I will continue to pay you. And you can structure that however you want to. You can do 10 years, you can do 20 years, you can do like I'm a big fan of like I don't have an issue overpaying somebody for their business.
Yeah.
I do not have an issue with that.
Okay.
It's your baby, you grew it, and if the business is already set to float it, then the only thing I'm doing at that point is I'm betting on myself.
Righteous.
Right?
Yep.
So like I'm betting that I'm going to at the very least maintain it, if not then grow it.
Yeah, for sure.
So then anything I grow, then that's what I'm going to pay myself.
Righteous.
Right? And so you can do it that way too. It's like, hey, whatever you're paying yourself, I'll pay you that for X amount of time. Or maybe even you structure it where it's like, I'll pay you, just a little bit less just so I can justify paying myself.
For sure.
It's also important that like you have to, when you're buying a business or starting a business, when you're buying a business, you have to think to yourself, am I going to be running it? Am I an owner operator? Or am I going to be kind of more hands off?
Yep. Okay.
And if you're going to be more hands off because you got other things you're doing, other irons in the fire, so to speak.
Yep.
Then you're going to have to pay somebody
for sure
to
run it,
to be that focal point of that business.
Yep.
Right. So that person, you're going to have to trust that person, but you're going to have to pay them something.
Yep.
It's going to be $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year, something like that.
Right. Right.
Right. So then now all of a sudden that's a new cost in that business that previous to now didn't have that.
Yep.
Right.
For sure.
So just keep that in mind where it's like, if you're going to buy that business and you want to do the, I'll pay you $10,000 for the rest of your life structure or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you also add on an extra, $5,000 a month. Then like all of a sudden you got to increase that $5,000 a month minimum before you even see a dime.
Oh,
so you just have to keep that in mind. So can you buy a business without money down? 100%.
100%. Okay, so all the things that you was telling us, right, sound real good in theory. We want receipts, John. You know how we get down on LYTE conversations. We need receipts. So you've gave us this strategy, not just because you know this strategy, but because you have done this strategy. Am I correct?
True.
So let's put this in real time, my man. How did you buy a business with no money down?
So I did the first thing. The first example is I said, hey, I will give you 5% of gross.
5% of gross.
Until I reach X number.
Okay.
And so whatever the X number was greater than what they would have sold it for.
Okay.
So I overbought their business, so to speak.
You overbought it.
I overbought it, but they also gave me the business with no money up front.
Okay.
So it's a benefit to both parties.
Yeah, it's almost like interest.
Yeah, it really is. Yep. I mean, it really is. And so it's like, and you can set, so the way I said it was like, I'll give you X percentage every month. My thing's buzzing. I don't know if that's you being passive aggressive or what you're doing.
I don't hear anything. Nah, player.
No, but it's you can set a time on it, but then there's no penalties for doing it faster than the time.
Okay.
So if it took you, like, let's say you had, like, you blew up your business out the water.
Yeah.
Month one. You're like, well, man, I bought this business for $100,000. I was thinking it was going to take me 5 years to pay it off.
Right.
I just made $100,000 this month. Just pay them off. Get it over with.
For sure.
So you can do that. So that's what I did. Is I said, I'll give you 5% of gross until I reach this number. And I overbought it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one business.
Yep.
No money down.
Right.
There's another business that I purchased that was severely undervalued because the owner just was absent. And so I bought like all the assets and everything, and it was probably realistically just the like equipment alone was probably worth 5 times what I paid for it.
Really?
But this person that I was like, hey, I'm in other things. I can't focus on this business.
Yep.
I just need out. And so they're like, will you just buy it for blank? And I say, yeah, 100%. Because even if I just sold off the pieces, I'm going to make my money back.
Wow.
You know? So that's not no money down, but it's very little money.
For sure.
But it all starts with just knowing people, right? Like having that brand that we talked about.
Most definitely.
So, because good luck trying to buy a business from somebody you've never met before and be like, hey man, let me get your business from you
with no money down,
and I'll pay you over time. You just got to trust me.
Exactly.
But there's no trust there, so that's not gonna happen.
Trust is thin. Okay, so the second one sounded good because you could just sell the parts and you could make your money, right? So that makes sense. Let's double back to the first one because there's a few things I'm not understanding. So when you bought that business, right, and you were giving what 5% more than what he was making, right, every month? Is that what you said?
No. So I did 5% of whatever the gross is until I hit a specific number.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just make up numbers.
Okay.
So let's say I'm going to buy this business for $120,000.
You bought the business for $120,000, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So then I'm like, hey, I will pay you every month 5% of whatever I brought in that month, not profits, gross.
Oh, okay. I'm
So
following
if I
you now.
sold $10,000
Yeah.
of jobs, I'm going to pay you 5% of that $10,000.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm going to do that every month until the 120
It's paid off.
is paid off.
Ah.
So that could, and that's 100% of just whatever I do that month. So
Yeah.
if I have a great month, I'm paying it off a little faster.
Yep.
If I have a horrible month, I'm paying it off a little slower.
Okay.
You know, so there's not necessarily a time limit on that. It's just I have this outstanding debt, and it's called owner carry. That's what it's called.
It's called owner carry.
Owner carry. So if the
Okay.
owner is carrying the debt, essentially,
Yeah.
and they're giving you the business versus the bank is carrying the debt.
Okay, I'm following that. So when you're doing something like that for the people watching, what type of paperwork is going into that? Is this a shake a hand deal? Is this like we need to go to the lawyers? We need to go get this notarized? What type of paperwork is going into this?
Yeah, well, and there's a couple different ways. I would always encourage everyone to pay, and I understand this is I hate paying attorneys. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yep.
I've now purchased. Let me give you two sides of the coin.
Okay, give me both. Give me both.
So I purchased one business, and it was an assets purchase. Okay, so I didn't actually buy. So there's a way that you can buy the entire business, and that includes like the EIN, like the
okay.
federal tax ID
Yep,
number, the LLC paperwork,
Yep.
and all that stuff. Or you can just buy the assets of essentially what makes up the business.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So that now you have to still go get your own EIN, and then you can do
What is the EIN?
I don't know what it stands for. It's the federal
Employer identification number.
Yeah.
So for people about to start a business, your EIN for your business is like a social security number for
good.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So so you can buy that whole thing, or you can just do the assets purchase and then attach the assets to the new thing.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I also have purchased a business where I bought the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
Now let me give you the dangers of buying the whole thing versus the assets. Is like all those persons that person's debt is now yours. Because if I come to you and I was like, hey, you know, I want to start like this vendor relationship with you.
Yep.
Here's my EIN number.
Okay.
So now you have this relationship with the business, right?
Yep.
Even though it's the previous owner that set everything up and said that I would pay you X amount of money and et cetera, et cetera.
Ooh-wee.
It's not my problem anymore.
That's so true. I
And
didn't
like
think about
you
that.
can go to the old owner and go, hey, listen, you saw these outstanding debts that I didn't know about. But
it wasn't me. I wasn't the owner at the time, bro.
yeah,
it wasn't me.
But if they don't like that, then there's nothing you can do. Like legally, it's your
Wow.
problem, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like if they didn't file their taxes or whatever.
Yep.
It's you now.
Okay.
So that one I'd be super careful with. I would do something like an assets purchase, and then attach it to a brand new LLC, brand new EIN, things like that.
Okay, so either you talking fast or I'm listening slow. So you know I'm a question asker. So what is an assets purchase?
So the assets purchase is whatever it is that makes up the business.
Okay.
So let's just take the flooring company that I own, Garage Solutions. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So right now it's like we have a bunch of equipment. We have flake, we have epoxy, we have shot blasters, we have diamond grinders, we've got trucks, we got trailers.
Yep.
You know, we have all these things that make up the company essentially.
Okay.
So the assets purchase is like, okay, I'm going to give you all of these things that make up the business. That includes your website. That's any assets that you can transfer over.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sell that to you.
Okay.
In exchange for the what we talked about, you know, the 5% for whatever.
Yeah.
So then now all of a sudden it's like you can, you know, disband or whatever their EIN, their LLC, that just goes away. That's with them.
Okay.
So whatever debts they have with that stuff, that's with them.
Ah.
Now then you can set up something a doing business as or a DBA to still keep that brand name. So like Garage Solutions is actually like that legally, that's not my LLC or that's not my EIN. Now I have a DBA with Garage Solutions.
Okay.
So then I can still use it on things.
Right.
But like that's not the actual thing because of that stuff. And so
Okay.
you can do stuff like that.
So okay. All right, another question. So what are you looking for when you're about to purchase this business, right? Because I'm sure you want to make sure, I mean, how do you know that you're going to be able to grow this?
Well, I think that's a you thing.
Okay.
So it's like whatever you focus on is going to grow, whether that's a bad thing or a good thing.
Yep.
Right. So it's like if I'm focused on ping pong, I'm gonna get better at ping pong.
True.
Right.
Yep.
So if I'm gonna buy a business, like I need to either A, know that that's gonna take my focus for a while until I fix the systems and get things going, or B, I need to know that I have somebody in place that can do that for me.
Okay.
Right. And
Yep.
and if you have that person, awesome, but you're gonna have to pay for them.
Right, right.
So when I'm looking at buying a business, I just want to make sure that like a lot of entrepreneurs, they are their business.
Okay.
So you have to look at it and go, okay, is the business them or is there an actual business?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's
so
good.
it's like if you died today, how long would your business actually work?
Right. Yep, that's good.
And if you don't have any type of systems, you don't have any call scripting, you don't have any type of any of that, and
Yep.
you are your own business, there's not really a lot of value there because I can't buy you.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
Like when I buy the business, you're bouncing.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So that's what I'm looking for is like, what's the potential of scaling the business? I think it's was it Jack Welch? No, it's somebody said I try to buy businesses that an idiot can run because sooner or later an idiot will.
Yep.
So it's Warren Buffett said that.
Okay.
And so that's what you're looking for. Is like you're looking for a business that's scalable.
Scalable. There we go.
You're looking for a business that's like already has leads coming in. Already
okay.
has a little bit of reputation.
Reputation. That's good. Leads.
Things like that. Like something that's beyond just the owner,
The person
and
that's
like
behind
that's
it.
just out there, being the rainmaker.
Yep. So, okay, so now you're buying this business, you're putting no money down. Do you have negotiation room?
100%.
Do you?
No, you 100% do.
Okay, how so? How so?
Because it's all about like, so if 9 times out of 10, you can't like just go out of like I can't walk up to you and go, Charles, I want to buy your house flipping business,
Yeah.
and you're gonna go, okay,
Right.
because you didn't seek me out for this,
Yeah, that's real.
right?
Yep.
So I'm seeking you out. So then really, it's like I've got to throw you a number, and then I can't really negotiate with myself.
Yeah.
Because I came out the blue with that.
Right.
You know?
No, that's real.
But if somebody else is like, man, I really just kind of want out of this business. A lot of times, like you kind of sidebar or going back, double back in.
Double back with the double bag.
It's like if you find somebody that's struggling in business and like their issue is, maybe it's sales. Maybe they're just real bad at sales.
Yeah.
Like they're just, because when you're an entrepreneur, you have to wear a lot of hats. You have to wear all the hats for a while,
Yeah,
right?
that's
you have
so
to be
real.
the accountant. You have to be the salesman. You have to be the manager. You have to
Security.
be the janitor. You have to be the
Yeah,
security. You have to be it
that's
all,
real.
right?
Bookkeeper.
And so
Yeah.
most people start business because they're really good in one of those areas, but they don't realize that they have to wear all the hats.
Woohoo! Yeah, to preach.
And so, and so you can either get good at those areas,
Okay.
or you can fail.
Yeah.
And so some people are just struggling, and you're like, hey, listen, let me just take all of the stress off you. I'll even take whatever
Okay.
debt you have right now
Okay,
over,
okay.
because you got something good here. You just don't know how to manage people, or you don't know how to sell, or whatever it is that, and you're like, I know how to do that, or I have somebody that can't, So then I'm going
Okay.
to take it. I'm alleviating you from your stress, so you can go get a 9 to 5, or you can go do something else, or focus on something else.
Yes.
And you're grateful.
Okay, it's adding up right now. So in the real estate world, we would call that a motivated seller.
Exactly.
We call that a motivated
So there's
seller.
a reason why you're wanting to sell it, and so now all of a sudden there's a lot of room for negotiations. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, like let's just take that example. You're drowning. It's like every month you go backwards $1,000.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, listen, let me take that from you. And I'm not going to even buy it. I would start with, I'm going to take over your debts,
Yeah.
so you're not losing $1,000 a month anymore,
Right. Right.
and you get to walk away. Your name's clear. Your conscience is clear.
Yep.
This is my burden.
Ooh wee.
9 times out of 10, people are going to take that. Because they're like, oh, you're saying like I don't have to pay any bills back. I can just walk away. I
Yep.
go get a job.
Right.
I tried the entrepreneur thing for a little bit.
Yep.
It's not for me,
Exactly.
which nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I could just like, I went, I tried to learn, I made some mistakes, and I can mistake-free bounce.
Right.
So try that.
Okay. Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, my business, I got it to a certain point. I'm not willing to make that because growing a business is just trade-offs.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like every single step along the way is just trade-offs. So it's like I grew my business to a certain point, and I'm no longer interested in making those trade-offs to grow past that. Whatever those might be.
Okay.
So it could be like spending more time. It could be traveling. It could be training up a team.
Yep.
It could be any number of things. Any number of trade-offs. Okay. So you're like, I'm just really not interested in doing that. You're like, well, I could do that for you.
Yeah.
Like I can grow I still have a lot of piss and vinegar in me, whereas you might be checked out,
Right.
but I'm not.
Yep.
So let me buy it from you, and then it's just like, okay, well, you can always start at like you're gonna from a bank you're gonna get roughly 2.5 times, and so then you can start that and go, hey, listen, I know the bank's gonna give you 2.5 times, but you're gonna have to go find a seller.
Yep.
It's gonna take forever.
Yep.
Versus like we could just do this right now.
For sure.
And then there's negotiation. So then it comes down to like just whatever it's you're comfortable with. Now, when you're trying to buy a business from somebody and you're asking them to carry the whole loan, like just don't be a shyster. Like that's really it. So
really?
like, oh well, I'll pay you $10,000 over the course of eternity.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $3.33
Right.
Like make it worth their while.
Okay.
Otherwise, why would they even sell it? Why wouldn't they just at least maintain it and just make what they're making?
That's true.
So you have to make it at least worth their while to like do what you're asking or what you're wanting them to do. But there's 100% room for negotiation. So you can do that with how the money, like the purchase price. You can do that with the terms of like how fast you pay it back. You can do that with gross versus profits. You can do that with paying them their salary that they're currently getting paid. You can do that with the amount of time that you're doing that. There's a number of ways that you can negotiate.
What are the downfalls of buying someone else's business?
Well, 100% the debt. So if you like buy the whole business,
right?
There's always, I shouldn't say always, but a lot of times, there's a lot of debt that you have no idea about, and maybe they don't even know about it.
Yep.
I don't think that people like when they sell a business, they're trying to get you.
Right.
They just forgot that they like set this account up forever ago, and then these people are going to their outstanding invoices, going, "Hey, Charles owes me a bunch of money. I need to go collect from that guy.
I need some of that dough."
And all of a sudden, you got people out the woodwork, and when it rains, it pours with stuff like that. So it's like now you got this line out the door of people that you didn't even met.
Yep.
That's like, hey, I want some monies.
I need my money on time.
So that's one thing is like just really making sure that there's not really outstanding debt. The second thing is just knowing that there is actual money to be made. So a lot of entrepreneurs just they do it's like bank account accounting.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is like every morning they pull up their bank account and go, ooh, I got no money.
Yeah.
Or, ooh, it's a good day. I got some money.
Right.
And then that's all their decisions are made off of. Right. And they don't actually know their numbers. Versus like
profits and losses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just really having that down. And even if people think that they know that their profits or losses or things like that, it's like you forgot to add in the insurance or you forgot to add in something.
No doubt.
So really just doing your due diligence in making sure that their numbers are tight is the other thing. And then the last thing I would say is like the big danger of buying somebody's business is you can't buy them.
Yeah.
So if they are their business, then you're in some trouble.
Right.
So it's like if your entire business is you getting out there shaking hands, kissing babies, and then you're not part of the business anymore, that business is going to fold.
For sure.
So it doesn't like you could get out there and kiss the same hands and kiss the same baby or shake the same babies or what is it? Don't shake the babies.
Do not shake the babies. We're not taking no kid advice from John, man. He be tripping sometimes.
But I mean, you can get out there and do the same thing, but they just don't have that relationship with you.
Yep.
That's
true.
And so it's just make sure that you're buying a business that's not just relationship driven.
Okay, so we want to leave it on a high note, right? My last question is, what are some of the positives with buying someone else's business?
Well, a lot of times there's already leads. That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
So it's like when you start a business, you're not topping Google. Nobody's heard of you. None of this. So you're just going out there going, dear God, please, anybody use me just so I get my foot in the door.
Right.
Yep. And if you buy somebody's business, they've already done business with a bunch of people. There's already that word of mouth or that reputation. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, buddy.
You already got leads. If you buy a business that's top in Google, like that's even better. The website's done.
For sure.
Your print pieces are done. Your logo is done. Like all the beginning stuff is done.
Right.
So you can just get in there and you just fine tune the stuff that's already working and just make it a little bit better.
So it already has structure.
Yeah.
The house already has bones. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you just got to put a fresh coat of paint on that bad boy, resell
Lipstick job. Okay. Anything else you feel like the people should know about buying a business with no money or just buying a business, period?
I just think that just in general, I mean, we talked about it in one of the earlier episodes, but just find somebody that's done something similar and reach out to them.
That's
just
good.
find a mentor, right?
Yep.
And we'll do that.
Yep.
Like if you have a question about buying or selling a business, like just reach out to us.
Reach out.
Like that's what we're like. Literally, why we're doing this podcast is
For
to be able
sure.
to help.
That's real
And
talk.
if we can't help you, I can guarantee you we know somebody who can.
No doubt
You know?
about it.
But
No doubt about it.
maybe you're like, man, I just think those guys are funny. I actually don't want to talk to them about that stuff.
Yep.
Still go out find your own person.
Most definitely.
You know?
Most definitely. You should have a mentor in anything that you do. We just talked about that as well. Oh, man. Y'all, I hope y'all got some game from this one. So the answer was, can you buy a business with no money? The answer is yes. You can buy a business with no money. Watch this episode. When you're done, click repeat, rewatch this episode. And when you're done, if you listen to it a few more times in your ear, because my man drops so much game on this thing. You hear what I'm saying? Listen, so if you got some value from this episode, please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you're on YouTube,
And
right?
review.
But if you on the podcast app, please leave us a review.
Come on.
Share it with a friend. And download this thing in the episode that came before that.
Get some merch.
And get you some merch.
Come
You better
on.
get you some merch and rap with us. LYTE Conversations, LYTE, bringing dark to situation. I mean, bringing light. We ain't bringing no
Cut
dark.
that.
I meant I was dark. You know what I'm saying? Black is beautiful.
Yeah.
Bringing light to dark situations,
Wakanda
man.
forever.
Wakanda forever. Love, peace, and hair grease, man. We over and out.